12 seconds left, third down, back to throw. Throws it out right. Caught, get out of bounds!
He didn't, and the Cowboys dropped the season opener.
That was shocking to me.
But they got their groove on after that loss.
We put a chip on my shoulder early this season. I think that loss was good for us at the time.
Now, the Cowboys are looking for some payback.
We go up there at their place to do what they did to us. I think anybody's sharing Christmas cards here. It's the New York Giants.
A bruising Giants defense awaits them.
Trying to get outside, caught from behind.
At the end of the day, it's going to be our will versus their will.
They've had good rushers there for 60 years.
The Giants are looking to take the Cowboys' groove away.
What are they, 11-1? And one loss is against us.
They're in that way, so we got to make sure we get them taken care of.
It'd be exciting to get back out there and go give them another loss.
It's an NFC East showdown right now on Cowboys Game Day.
The city that never sleeps, New York, New York. And yes, the Cowboys are across the river in Jersey City, New Jersey, getting set to take on the New York Football Giants. Sunday Night Football tonight at the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium. And welcome into Cowboys Game Day, the only live and local Cowboys television pregame show anywhere. Bill Jones along with the Pro Football Hall of Famer, the Manster Randy White. Excited for some football already, even though we're about 10 hours away from kickoff?
It's going to be a big game tonight, Bill. Exciting game. New York, don't get any better than this.
Yeah, one Cowboy did not make the trip to New York. That would be Lucky Whitehead, as he missed a team meeting reportedly yesterday, so he is not there. But the rest of the Cowboys are there. And one guy who did make the team charter to New York was our own Keith Russell. He celebrated his birthday on the team charter yesterday. And look at him. He's up bright and early today with New York City in the background. He survived his birthday. Hello, Keith. How you doing?
Hey, Bill. Hey, Randy. Yes, yesterday was my birthday. And, you know, I got a free piece of cake at a restaurant. I'll take anything for free. You know me. I use coupons at every turn. The Cowboys don't need a coupon tonight. You know what their icing on the cake is going to be? A win over the only team to beat them this season. You know, that was back in week 1. The Cowboys, with a win tonight, clinched the NFC East. They'll also run their record to 12-1, which will match the best starting team history. The 2007 team started 12-1. So the key for the Cowboys is simple. Keep doing what they've been doing all season long. In game number 1, the Giants, if you remember, held Zeke to a season-low 51 yards. Dak was only 25 of 45 passing, didn't throw a pick, also didn't throw a touchdown. The dynamic rookie duo really didn't know what they were doing. But look at them now. Tonight is a chance for redemption against that Giants defense.
They're good on all 3 levels of defense. It starts with their rush. They've had good rushers there for 60 years, and they got a lot of guys. It's the starters, it's the backup guys. They've always kind of come at you in waves, and there's no different now.
It's the New York Giants, you know, you got to be at your best. You know, it's a mindset thing. You got to be right. You know, if you don't, they're going to take advantage of you. At this point in the year, they've seen everything you can do. And so it's going to get tough. But, I mean, I just think it's about will. At the end of the day, it's going to be our will versus their will.
Obviously, the Giants without Jason Pierre-Paul. He had surgery on that sports hernia, so he won't be there to put pressure on Dak. He also won't be there to set the edge against Zeke. The Giants plan to replace him with a defensive end by committee approach. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say it's going to be an uphill climb. Let me get out. I'm 43 years old now. That doesn't work anymore. Randy, what do you believe the Giants defense can possibly do to stop this Cowboys offense? Because I think the Giants are in trouble. Is there any threat the Giants defense poses tonight?
Well, I can tell you this. I watched a little bit of that Pittsburgh game again last night, and them 2 big guys in the middle, that Harrison and Hankinson, they got 2 big fat guys that run 20 yards down the field and try and make plays. So that was pretty impressive. So we're going to have to control them guys in the middle because that's where we like to go a lot. So we'll see. That's going to be a real interesting matchup.
There are the big guys in the middle. Number 95, Jonathan Hankins. What do you call him? A big fat guy?
Big fat guy.
You can call him that. I'm not going going to call him that.
Well,
Damon Harrison's the other guy, the former New York Jet who they acquired in the offseason, and they did a lot to shore up that defense, and it showed in that first game of the year.
That's right. Bill, big guys don't usually run down the field 20 yards and make a play. These guys are doing it. I'm going, hey, that's pretty impressive. So we'll see how long they can keep it up.
You know, Jason Garrett was pretty impressive talking about that the Giants have had a pass rush for 60 years. I did the research on it, and exactly 60 years ago, the Giants won the NFL championship after acquiring a pass rusher in Andy Robustelli. But they don't have Jason Pierre-Paul now. They do have Olivier Vernon on the other side, and this guy gets after it.
Yeah, Vernon's good. Came to him from Miami, got a quick first step. If you don't get him on a corner, he gets ahead of you. He can cause a lot of problems. And Pierre-Paul not being in there, that's a good thing for us, because I tell you, even with the injury to his hand and what he did, he's really come on and started playing football like he's capable of. So we don't have to deal with him tonight. That's a good thing.
Have to deal with the Giants secondary, though, and Landon Collins has been playing as good as any defensive back in the league. He was the November Defensive Player of the Month, second-year man out of Alabama. They also have spent some first-round picks like Eli Apple in that secondary, and that's one of the reasons that Prescott was unable to do much in the passing game the first time around.
Well, you know, Collins, Bill, I tell you, he's kind of, if he gained a little weight, they were even talking about moving him to the linebacker spot.
He plays like a linebacker.
Yeah, and he's a big, strong guy, and he does a good job back there of tackling and making plays. And when you got a guy like that back there, we had one with the Cowboys, a guy named Darren Woodson, who was a pretty darn good football player. And this guy kind of I don't know if you want to put him there with Darren yet, but he sure got some similarities.
Not quite the speed that Woody had, but all right, Cowboys on offense. Of course, the recipe for success has been running the football, getting ahead in games. As you all know, Zeke Elliott, his first game in the NFL, he only had 51 yards on 20 carries against the Giants. And the Cowboys' offensive line, of course, is the best in football. I think they might have some extra motivation today against this Giants team that kind of shut them down a little bit in the first game.
Well, they did in the first game. I tell you what, that was Zeke's first game, and I think he's grown a lot with that offensive line as far as how he runs, how he hits that hole, become a little more patient, knows when to go, knows when to jitterbug in there and get around the corner. So I think we're going to see a completely different attack than we did that first game. We're going to be a lot better than we were.
And we've seen it all season long in this 11-game win streak from Zeke. But where you're looking is the offensive line and how they do against those big guys up front on the Giants defense, right?
Well, and that's right, Bill. I think we ran right into them last time, just smashed right into them. And this time, I tell you what, give our offensive lineman, give him a chance to move a little bit, then he can pick and choose where he needs to go. And I think there's going to be some holes open up there. And we'll get into this a little bit, but if they crowd that line and really try to stop him, Jason Witten had a big night last time against them, and look for him and maybe Beasley, if he can avoid Collins, to have another big night.
Well, and that gets back to Dak Prescott. And Prescott, you know, he threw the ball 45 times in that game, and the Cowboys had to settle for field goals. They had long drives in that game against the Giants, but they had to settle for field goals. Since then, 18 out of 19 scoring drives in the first half of games have ended in touchdowns, and that is, a lot of that is Dak Prescott.
Well, and I think, you know, Dak's come a long way since that first game also, and I think the coaching staff and the plays they're calling, they realize, hey, we got to score touchdowns, not field goals, if we want to win these games. And they've gone with Dak and given him some more freedom, and he's come through and done a great job with it. So that's another area where we've improved immensely, and I think we'll see a difference tonight in our quarterback play.
You know, they've given Dak the ability to make plays, rolling him out, putting him in position where he only has to really look at half the field a lot of times. How about Dez Bryant? And Dez, you know, since coming back from his injury, he's playing as well as he has in his entire career. He really seems like he's in a good place right now.
He's making great plays. He's a team player. He inspires these other guys. He's right there. I mean, Dez is I'm impressed with Dez and everything he's doing on and off the football field, and being a team guy. He's really turned into what I would call a complete pro football player.
You know, it's interesting when you compare the wide receivers in this game, Dez and Odell Beckham Jr., who we'll get into a little bit earlier. And one of the keys to the Cowboys' success is Dez is not doing some of the things that Odell does. And again, we'll talk about that later. But a great point, Randy, you bring up Jason Witten again. 9 catches in that season opener against the Giants. And remember, he had 18 catches in one game several years ago against the Giants. He is my pick to click in this game after not getting a catch last week against the Vikings. All right, coming up, will Tony Romo get on the field if the Cowboys are playing meaningless games this year? But first, time for our Wingstop trivia question. The Cowboys and Patriots, the only teams that have not lost on the road this year. With a win tonight and at Philadelphia on New Year's Day, the Cowboys will go undefeated away from home. Can you name the last team to accomplish that feat? We have the answer after the break. I can name that team.
You can?
I can name that team.
I can't, Bill.
And I'm going to name that team when we come back.
Well, that's a good thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing, Bill.
In our Wingstop trivia question, we told you with a win tonight and at Philadelphia on New Year's Day, the Cowboys will go undefeated on the road. Did you know the last team to accomplish this feat? Well, of course, it was the 2014 Dallas Cowboys.
As sharp as he looks at practice, as sharp as he looks working with our first team, there's no rust that I'm interested in knocking off. If your strength is having a Romo behind Dak, if that's the strength, what is the gain in risking any of that? It damn sure is knocking rust off.
Jerry Jones on the Fan earlier this week as we get ahead of ourselves here on Cowboys Game Day. Yes, the Cowboys playing the Giants tonight can clinch the division. In fact, by the end of the day, they could clinch everything if Seattle loses at Green Bay, if Detroit loses at home to Chicago. But let's get ahead of ourselves for just a moment. And I thought that was very interesting what Jerry said, because a lot of people speculate, oh, they got to play Tony Romo in a meaningless game late in the season. Well, Jerry doesn't sound like he wants to do that. He wants to have a healthy Romo going into the playoffs as a backup.
Well, Bill, I mean, and I understand that because when we played the Baltimore Ravens, the first quarter, Dak took a shot right in the middle of the back, and if that had been Tony, that would have created some problems. So why take, if you're going to get your guy banged up, get him banged up in real combat. I mean, he knows, he's been in that arena a bunch of times, so I understand exactly what Jerry's saying there. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
All right, it's a good problem to have, and it's not a problem because if they clinch everything. Now, here's my next question for you, the bigger picture. Dak and Zeke and the rest of this offense, they're playing so well right now. What are your thoughts on even resting them a game at any point down the stretch?
Well, I don't know. The coaches will have to make that because they got their finger on. But I personally say, hey,
keep on playing.
Keep on playing. Don't break that rhythm. You got young guys with experience. You know, the chances of them getting hurt are slim to none. Keep them in there. Keep the momentum going. You don't want to lose that momentum. But you want to rest them. And if you rest them, hey, if you rest any of them offensive linemen, you get that running back and that quarterback out of the game. And you don't put Tony in there. You get Sanchez in there. Let him handle it with the backup guys.
Let him take the hits. I think they learned a lesson in 2007, too. No trips to Cabo either. All right, coming up, we'll head back out to Keith Russell in New Jersey. Plus, Odell Beckham is mad at everyone. Can the Cowboys get in his head tonight and knock him off his game? The Manster with the answer next.
It's time for the Nissan On the Road Report. Shop ChooseNissan.com today.
One World Trade Center, otherwise known as the Freedom Tower, Lower Manhattan, the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. As this is Cowboys Game Day. Cowboys just outside New York City, taking on the New York Football Giants tonight. Bill Jones with Randy White, and we've got Keith Russell, the birthday boy, just outside New York City across the river, joining us right now. Let's talk about these New York Giants a little bit, Keith.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Randy. Yeah, let's talk about Odell Beckham, the Giants' superstar wide receiver. At times, he can be the best player in the game. At other times, he can be a hothead who you can throw off his game. Now, recently, in a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Odell Beckham was complaining like you would not believe. Now, remember when he made that catch over Brandon Carr and he was on the cover of the Madden cover? Well, everybody thought he was living on top of the world. Against the Steelers, he got pushed around, he got shoved around, and then he started complaining. He started complaining about everything and to anyone who would listen.
Either way it goes, I should have probably never brought it up. It's really irrelevant. Nothing's going to change. No calls are going to be made because of what I say now. Everybody knows what's going on the field. Everybody can see it. Stevie Wonder can see it. It's always a lose-lose situation, bringing something up. You just got to keep playing. You know what you're going against. It's the Giants versus everybody, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Look, stop making fun of Stevie Wonder. Odell Beckham, stop making fun of Stevie Wonder. You want to talk about Stevie Wonder? How about this song, Superstition? That's what Odell Beckham has. He has a superstition that everybody's against him. Let's talk about another Stevie Wonder song, Ribbon in the Sky. It won't be for him today, Bill and Randy. See this thing right here? This is called a rose. Well, guess what? The Cowboys are going to be a thorn in his side. Randy, you know better than anyone how to get in someone's head. How did the Cowboys do it?
Well, I tell you, Beckham, you want to talk about a complainer. We had a guy that used to complain to the officials quite a bit when I played, John Dutton. He would yell and cuss at the officials before the game. I used to tell him, John, wait till they do something wrong before you start yelling at them. We're never going to get a call. So, yelling at the officials doesn't work. But Beckham, I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He's so easy to get under his skin. All you got to do is poke him. If I played against this guy, even if I was a defensive tackle, I would be out there yelling at him, saying things to him to get him mad at me and throw him off his game. Because he gets off his game, he gets penalties. I mean, that's really not a very smart way to play the game of football.
And that can affect the rest of the team. I think the key to this game for the Cowboys, it's their blueprint for success all season long. Get ahead of this team. You get in that guy's head, and it can have a negative effect on the Giants the rest of the game.
Oh, I can. And Bill, let me tell you how to handle this. I used to try to do that to John Riggins. I used to get on John. I'd yell at him, bah, 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 bah. And Riggins, all he'd do is do this. Give me a look at me, go back to huddle, and try to run over me the next time he got the ball. That's the way you handle guys that are trying to razz you. So Beckham, if you're watching, I'm trying to help you there. You look like an idiot.
Well, fortunately for Cowboys fans, I don't think he's watching because he's in New York right now.
I know.
All right, let's talk about the key, though, against the Giants offense. It's pressuring Eli Manning. In fact, they have a severe imbalance between the run game and the pass game. They're trying to throw the football downfield, and if you can get to Eli Manning, you can stop that from happening.
Tough to get to Eli. Experienced quarterback, gets rid of that ball quick. But, when he wants to go deep, he holds that ball. We got to get pressure on him. And, as great of a quarterback as Eli is, he will put that ball up for grabs sometimes if you can get pressure on him. So, pressuring him tonight is going to be critical. Even if we don't get the sacks, get in his face, maybe we get some turnovers, interceptions, something. We need to disrupt his time all night long if we're going to be effective.
And we saw Vincent Mayoa come through there. DeMarcus Lawrence missed a couple of days of practice this week. He's got a back issue. We'll see how healthy he is tonight. But one of the key plays, that two-point conversion against the Vikings last week, Cedric Thornton got in the face of Sam Bradford, disrupted that play. The Cowboys secondary, though, against this Giants team, Giants not only have Beckham, they've got Victor Cruz, they got Sterling Shepard. The Cowboys don't have Mo Claiborne, who they did have in the season opener against the Giants.
And Bill, what we don't want to do, we'll give up like we've been giving up those little short passes going down the field. What we don't want to do is give up some big plays. Big plays and let them score quick, because our offense hopefully is going to be able to control that clock, keep the ball, score points, and we don't want these guys to be able to score quick. So, that's what we'll watch for tonight.
And that's been their method throughout the season. Okay, the rookie cornerback, the 6th rounder out of Purdue, Anthony Brown, came up with some big plays last week against the Vikings. He's been burned at times, but all in all, he's played very well for a rookie, and he played every play last week against the Vikings. And with Skandrick's issues with his injury, he may just be playing in the slot. Anthony Brown may be playing every play again this week on defense.
Well, Bill, he's done a great job. I tell you, when he played against the other Brown in Pittsburgh, Antonio Brown, who a lot of people say is the best, one of the top in the league, he did an excellent job and held his own in that game. And he's played well every week, and he's no fluke. He's a real deal, and he's out there competing, and he's going to be a great asset to this defense moving forward.
All right, coming up on Cowboys Game Day, is Randy's 11-game prediction streak in jeopardy tonight?
In the words of Witten, sponsored by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com today.
It's not easy to get to this point, but again, I think moving forward, our success comes with that edge, the way we play. And so while you acknowledge it and you appreciate the position you're in, this momentum that we're playing with, it's a great thing. And but now we got to move forward.
Let's take a look at the International Suit Warehouse NFC East standings. And Randy, does this look pretty or what?
It's pretty, Bill. It's pretty.
11-1 are the Cowboys looking for their 12th straight win at the Giants. They can win the NFC East tonight. Yes, just outside New York City, home of the Empire State Building there on 5th Avenue. 1,454 feet high, if you include the antenna spire on top of it. Final couple of minutes here of Cowboys Game Day as we get you set for Sunday Night Football tonight. The Cowboys and the Giants. Bill Jones with Randy White, and we've got Keith Russell with the Cowboys in New York. Some final thoughts from you, Keith.
Guys, when I think about this matchup, a famous song comes to mind by the Dog Pound back in the day. It goes, New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, New York, ain't always what it seems. Well, you know what? It's not what it seems. There will be no dreams for the Giants tonight. The Cowboys win this game. The Cowboys avenge their only loss of the year. They win the NFC East title. They take a bite out of the Big Apple. I can go on and on. They get the job done tonight, fellas.
New York, New York, the Dog Pound. I thought Sinatra sang that song. Randy, your win streak's at 11 in a row, just like this team. Are you getting to 12 in a row? Who are you picking?
No, Bill, I'm picking the
Cowboys.
I'm picking the Cowboys, and you know what? It's going to be like a game of marbles. After tonight, the Cowboys are going to gather all the marbles on the table and put them in their sack and come on home, and then we'll go from there.
And they're going to keep playing hard the rest of the season.
Well, you have to. You got to keep playing every week. You got young guys. They're still learning. You can't rest them too much. You got to keep them fresh and keep them going.
All right, we got the Texans and Colts here on CBS 11 at noon today. The NFL Today is straight ahead. Join Dave Campo and me right after the Cowboys game on CBS 11 tonight.